There you go, my friends. Today I'm taking a look at an RGB case. We'll be looking at some surprises today, some of which are positive, others on the other hand turned out to be negative. So this is the Kolink Phalanx, and I'm not sure if you've heard of that manufacturer before. It is a known one for us in Europe. This case was kindly provided by the hardware shop Case King, so thanks goes out to that shop again. I can personally recommend that one to you, especially if you're based in Germany. The Phalanx comes in at roughly 85 euros, which are about 95 US dollars at the time of this video. So this ain't a cheap case, but it isn't an expensive one either. Either way, the Phalanx did manage to surprise me, but didn't I mention drawbacks? And if yes, what are those and how critical are those? So first of all, hats off to Kolink for this quite different design. A very popular case among RGB enthusiasts is the Observatory by that exact brand. But this one today seems to be aimed more towards those that are more into elegance. Nonetheless, we still do get some really eye-catchy RGB lighting thanks to those 4 pre-installed fans. Something that makes this case stand out from the rest is the elegant brushed aluminum front panel with that mesh opening, so the fans can actually intake some fresh air. The used materials, or rather the build quality, manages to impress only partially. In many aspects of the case, weak and thin steel comes into play. Not critical whatsoever, but that really takes away from a quality feeling you'd come to expect from a case costing over $90. But there still are well-made parts to be found in this particular case, the brushed aluminum front panel for instance. Kolink also didn't skimp on the thickness of the glass, and these 4 pre-installed addressable RGB fans along with that RGB fan hub does cost its money as well. We shouldn't forget that. In terms of specs, there's nothing that would really stand out from the masses. On paper, it does seem like we are dealing with a good overall package though. But I once again have to disappoint liquid cooling enthusiasts out there. While there's certainly room for up to a 240 or 280mm radiator in the front and at the top, a 360mm one would not fit in the front. Unexpected, I know. And something I keep criticizing over and over again when it comes to modern cases, at the top there's only very little room left for a radiator. Depending on the radiator and motherboard used, you could be looking at a challenge. For instance, I couldn't install my slightly thicker than average radiator. What a bummer. Slimmer one should fit, however. The pre-installed fans are ARGB to be exact. That's addressable RGB and therefore feature that 5V 3-pin RGB connection. On default, the fans are already pre-connected to that RGB fan hub. Unfortunately, it's all proprietary connections, but you can at least hook up that hub to your motherboard via a 3-pin ARGB connector to control color and effects that way. If you prefer doing it all over the hub, on default the reset button is connected to that hub in order to switch between effects. However, we do get another possibility, a remote control. Unfortunately, we do not have any control over the fan speed whatsoever, and I sadly have to inform you guys, the fan noise is not necessarily low. On top of that, the mesh opening in the front doesn't come with any dust filter. For the power supply we do get one, but it's the flimsy type, but hey, it gets the job done. On the top we do see a very nice magnetic dust filter. A special feature of the Phalanx is that glass door, or rather window. It can easily open like that and features hinges. Very nice indeed. The installation of 3.5-inch drives is all toolless. One SSD can be mounted on the back of the motherboard tray the classical way, and 2 more mounting points directly on the steel to the left. There's not a whole lot of space to work on cable management, but I can't complain too much. For the most part, it's me that needs to be blamed for this mess, since I, as usual, didn't quite invest enough time here working on cables. There are plenty of cutout holes, but rubber grommets are non-existent. There even are some vents in the PSU cover, but one thing did truly shock me. Those PCI slot covers need to be broken out, just like in the good old days, the Stone Age. In 2019, at a price of over $90, a big no-no. That's a huge drawback for me. But as you can see, my test system fits nicely into this case. While I couldn't install my slightly thicker radiator at the top, I could have mounted it in the front. And as you can see, there's enough clearance for about the longest graphics card you could buy. Mad respect to Kolink for equipping the Phalanx with the sheer amount of colors and effects when it comes to lighting. Even with the remote control, it's all working very well. But I need to let you guys know of some things. First off, there was no way I could actually connect that USB 2.0 connector to my motherboard. I was fiddling around with it for over 20 minutes and just couldn't do it. Those pin contacts are all wobbly and are facing in whole different directions. This in theory could be a production error, or at least I hope so. I've never seen anything like that before. Also, it seems Kolink did skimp a bit on the amount of screws that are included. While there's enough included for your usual gaming PC, if you want to install some more into this case, which it actually supports, there's not enough screws included. And last but not least, I'd like to point out that there's no way you could control the fan speed of these fans. And on default, they're spinning faster than what most would want them to. While the airflow is looking great, then the noise level is a tad too high for my taste. So long story short, this is not a perfect case, but one has to admit it does offer quite a bit too. Nevertheless, those small and partially critical flaws in 2019 do remind of the imperfection of the Phalanx. But one thing this case does really well, and that is RGB lighting with tons and tons of effects to go through. That's rare. And the aesthetics are great too, but that's a matter of taste actually. But thumbs up for the looks. But judging from what fits and doesn't fit, I don't see anything special really. By that I mean it's not better nor is it worse than the majority of cases out there. Whether or not we are talking of a good deal, price performance wise, I'm not sure. If the pricing had been lower, it certainly would have gotten a better rating from me. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against this case, and I don't want to talk it down, but as a reviewer I have to remain honest, and that's why I have to say this case barely escaped my bronze award. I'm giving the Kolink Phalanx the silver award. Kolink is definitely onto something, and I hope they do fix some of their flaws in the future. And with that said, thanks so much for watching, guys.